live. Welcome. Give people a few more moments to get on YouTube, maybe get their browsers loaded. I'm sitting here in Vista, California, North County, San Diego. Good evening, San Diego. So welcome everyone. It's Shabbat San Diego 2020, the 7th year of Shabbat San Diego. Can you believe it, guys? That's before you were born. That's when you were 1 year old that we brought the Shabbat project here to our community. This is my 5th time baking challah with Shabbat San Diego. We moved here just 4 years ago, and one of the first things that we did was show up at San Diego Jewish Academy and bake challah with all of you. So welcome to our friends, to our community all around San Diego. We miss you. We miss being together with you, but it doesn't feel so bad when we get to bake challah together. It really feels like we are together again. Violet, how many times have you made challah with Shabbat San Diego?
Mommy, I'm gonna take this off.
Just wanted to thank, what do you think, 5 times, 4 times?
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank our partners who you're going to hear from throughout the county who led their own challah dough celebration. Many of us in Vista and Oceanside came together on Zoom, and many of you did something very similar where although we're here in the empty room of Chabad of Oceanside, we had an opportunity to make the same dough together, to say the same blessings, to give tzedakah, and many of you watched our recorded video, and we're so glad that you were able to join us once again to be here on the screen. The rest of the weekend, it's not too late to register. We're just kicking off a really exciting weekend. Just like always, we're going to celebrate with Havdalah on Saturday night. We're going to do a Jewish Day of Learning on Sunday. It's not too late for you to register. And although you can invite guests into your home the way we traditionally do, and we really try to promote that through Shabbat San Diego, please call a friend, call your grandma, call your grandkids, and make this Shabbat a little bit extra special. And maybe before you light the candles, spend a little extra time together, tell somebody a story, because that's what Shabbat San Diego is all about. And when you're around the Shabbat dinner table, those things happen, and that's something my family enjoys, but we really miss having guests and being with our community on Shabbat. So how about a Zoom call? How about a reach out? I'd love to hear from you. Tonight, hopefully you already have your dough ready. So if you have it in the kitchen, go to the kitchen or bring it to where you are, because we have an exciting lineup of different types of braids tonight. We've got a basic 3 strands. You know how to make a 3-strand challah braid?
Yes.
Yes. We have a 4-strand straight or a 4-strand round. Usually you do that for Rosh Hashanah, or you buy a beautiful round challah. Tonight you can learn to make your own. Have you ever done that? Okay, Violet's done that too. She is much better than I. 6 strands I've learned and perfected through Shabbat San Diego. Each year I get better and better. An 8 strand, that sounds like a lot. Have you tried that?
No.
And also an opportunity to make babka and some fun creative shapes. So get your dough ready, get your oven on, and it is time for the last and final and most fun part of making your challah tonight. So with no further ado, I'm passing it over live to Malka.
Hi, thanks so much. It's good to see everybody this evening. Welcome to Shabbat San Diego's Mega Challah Bake. I am Malka Weiser, and I am a representative of Beth Jacob congregation. I've been running their challah bake for the last 5 years or so, since this whole thing started. And I am here tonight to do a special tefillah, a special prayer with all of you. But first I wanted to talk about the dough that I made. This is probably one of my favorite commandments in the Torah, because to me, it's all about the idea of I'm forming something. And what I believe when I make my challah is that I'm actually developing a love for Shabbat with my family. With every week, my kids enjoy my challah freshly made. And my mother did it, my grandmother did it, and it's something that I hope to pass on to my 2 daughters for the future. And I'm very, very proud of that. And so I wanted to talk about the idea of this dough. This dough is very special. It's one of the first commandments we were given when we entered the land of Israel. And what we're supposed to actually do is we're supposed to take a piece of the dough off, and we're supposed to give it to one of the priests, one of the Kohanim. And the idea is that we're not supposed to look at this thing as just a physical thing that we have created. It is supposed to, the Jewish way is to elevate it to something greater, something higher than yourselves. If you look at it, there's the animal that grabs its food from the ground, and then there's man who takes the food from the ground and develops it into something that is for human consumption. But then the human themselves, they want to elevate it higher than themselves. So they give it to the people that serve God directly with their service in the temple. Nowadays, we don't have that, but we still believe in the idea of elevating that idea. So that's why we separate it. We separate it so that we ourselves can realize that we're developing a future for our people, and we're elevating ourselves to a beautiful and higher spiritual level. And that is why we separate it. It's kind of like a form of charity, so to speak, that we give the people that are serving God on our behalf something of what we've made and we've reaped and we've created and we've put together for the greater good. So there's different things you can daven for, you can pray for. There are things like you can pray for somebody who you feel is having trouble having children. You could pray for somebody who is ill. You could pray for somebody who is looking to get married. There's a lot of different reasons you can pray while you're making your challah. And the cool thing about challah is actually the word challah is referring to the dough itself that you pull off, because it's an ordinary thing, right? Chol means ordinary, and we're elevating it to a higher level. And so I'd like together, all of us, to take the dough that we've been making, and I'm going to say the bracha, and you can feel free to repeat after me. And we're going to take just a small piece of the dough, and we're going to twist it off and repeat after me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahafrish challah min ha'isa. And then you're going to twist off a piece of dough, just about a fistful of dough, and hold it up and say, Harei zu challah. And leave it to the side and take time to think about the people that you want to pray for in your lives, and yourself and your family, your children, and the entire structure and the entire Jewish people and the entire world at large, that we should have, God willing, a salvation, and we should all come out of this pandemic learning the things we should have learned and gaining and growing as human beings and people in this world to contribute. And without further ado, I'd like to call on my dear friend, Audrey Jacobs, who's going to show you guys how to make a 3-braid. Audrey?
Thank you, Malka Weiser, so much. Yes, I'm Audrey Jacobs. I am a co-chair with Weiser-Beth of the Coastal Challah Bake, and I'm coming to you live from my kitchen. And I'm going to do the basic 3-braid challah. I'm not very creative, so I'm really excited to learn from all my colleagues tonight. For those of you who want to know the basic, but the one that we all look at the store, that hopefully you can now be able to make on your own, start with your dough, and you're going to separate it into 3 even pieces. And I have here extra flour, so I always have flour here on the counter when I'm making my challah. So I first kind of just roll each one and kind of make sure they kind of look even, and doesn't always have to, feel like I'm doing something and taking a pinch off of one to another one. And then again, you get sticky, you put your hands in the flour and roll it out into, I don't roll it on my counter. I just try to shape it more with my hands and then roll it out in my hands. And one of the things you're trying to do when you do this is you're looking for little bubbles of air, and you're trying to squeeze them out. So then when you get to a nice length that looks like long enough to braid, you want to do that with the other 2. And for me, challah is something that when my son started attending Small Hebrew Day School, my eldest now is 21. When he started, I didn't know about Shabbat. I grew up Reform and I had never baked challah. And I learned through some challah bakes at Hebrew Day School about baking challah. And I realized it was something that would connect my children to Shabbat in a way beyond just what they could learn about it. You remember things with your nose, the smell and taste. Those are powerful memories. So my son right now is actually freaking out. My youngest, Hillel, who's 13, he's like, Mom, you can't bake it right now because like Friday afternoon is when we smell challah in the oven. So I might actually braid this and wait to bake it tomorrow. But I've told my children, my 3 sons, that they will know who they're going to marry when they meet the woman whose challah tastes better than their mother's. So high order, but I'm sure they will. Okay, so now you have 3 equal strands. And what you do is just pinch them at the top. And then what I do is I start twisting each strand. So it has a really nice, tight twist. And this will make the braid look nicer. So this is like the fancy part of the basic. So I'm twisting each one. And it's looking pretty groovy. I also love braiding challah because my mother never braided my hair. So this is the closest I ever get to a braid, is braiding my challah. Okay, so now that I have them nice and twisted, it's just, if I had ever braided my hair, and if I had a daughter, maybe I'll have granddaughters, you just do a nice normal braid. And again, I keep kind of keeping the twist in when I'm braiding so that it will have a nice shape. And so very simple. Keep braiding nice and tight. And then at the end, nothing fancy. You just kind of tuck under what needs to be tucked under. And then on your pan, I always put it on a wax paper. Then I put it on a warm surface, and I will put a warm, wet cloth on top of it to let it rise for 30 minutes before I put it in the oven. And this is what a 3 braid, basic but beautiful braid looks like, 3 strand. And now I'm going to pass it on to get a little bit more fancy to Eileen, who's going to show us how to do a 4 strand.
Thanks so much, Audrey. I'm so excited to share this with you. We're going to be doing a 4 strand, so we're going to end up looking something like this. I've been doing a lot of my baking while being home and quarantined, and trying 3, 4, 5. I've gotten up to 7. I need to try that 8 strand they were talking about earlier. So you're going to do similarly to what Audrey just did. You'll split your dough into 4 pieces instead of 3, and you'll roll them out or squeeze them out into snakes or long strips. The way that we're going to do the 4 strand is a weave. So you'll pinch them together, and I'm going to try to do this upside down so everyone can see it the right way at home. So you'll start from right to left, kind of like reading Hebrew, and you'll go over, under, over. And you'll repeat this throughout the entire loaf. So you'll take your first strand, you'll go over the second strand, under the third strand, and then over the 4th strand. And you're going to repeat that motion all the way down. So you take your farthest one, you go over number 2, under 3, and over 4. And you'll start to see it's already coming together. So over, under, and then over. So you can always keep your hand on that first one so you don't lose it. And then you just go all the way down. I'm doing this upside down, so it's not as tight as it usually looks, but we'll smush it together. So over, under, and then over. And again, just continue on all the way until the end. Over, under, over. I think we can get one more out of it. There we go. And we'll just pinch those ends together just like we had the top pinched. And what you'll do, if you like it a little tighter or closer together, with your hands, you can bring it all the way together as you're moving it to your pan. It'll look something like this. Then you can egg wash it right before you're ready to bake. You can cover it with saran wrap or a towel, let it hang out for 30, 45 minutes, and then you're good to go. I want to pass it on to Iris, who's going to show you another 4 strand, but this time it's going to be round. Iris?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Hopefully you're all enjoying our beautiful challah baking. So again, cutting everything for 4. We're going to shape it a little bit to little snakes or long snakes. And then we're going to make it round instead of the long one. So, my story with the challah happened when I moved here from Israel. In Israel, we usually don't take our own challah. We have a lot of opportunities to buy them, and we do it. But in Israel, you actually feel that it's Friday. You go outside the street, you already smell, you know, you can sense it in so many ways. It's Friday. Here, my kids didn't have the option, so I decided to bake my own challah. So the round one, we're going to start with 2 straight ones like this. Then we're going to take one and we're going to put it as a crisscross on above and under the other one. And then with the other one, if this one we did above, we're going to do under and above. So hopefully you can understand it. Now we have 4 ways, north, south, however you want to look at it. Whichever is under, okay, like this one is under, we're going to take it and put it under the other one. We're going to start with against the clockwise. And again, from the middle. And now that we're back to center, we're going to take the other one that we did, and we're going to go under. This time clockwise. And we're going to keep it again against clockwise. And clockwise. And I'm guessing last time will be this one. And whatever is left, we're just going to tuck them under. Very nicely, like this. And that's it. That's how it looks like. Obviously, yes, you can let it go. You need to let it rise a little bit. Brush it with the egg. And I like the best is my sesame thing, but I know other people like something else. Now I'm gonna pass it to Nechama.
Thank you so much. So I am here to do the 6th grader. And I am just gonna maybe pull this back slightly. Okay. Very excited to do the 6th grader. When I was about 8 years old, my aunt from Brazil came to visit us. And for the first time, we used to always buy challah from the bakery. Now my mother makes it every week. But she taught us how to make challah, and then she taught us the 6th grader. The 6th grader is actually really special. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you have 6 pieces, you're going to roll them each out, just like everybody else was showing you so nicely how to roll them all out. And you are going to make 6 pieces, and you're going to pinch the top of the 6 pieces together. So what's very special about the 6th grade challah dough is that in the times of the temple, there was the shulchan, the table, inside the Beit HaMikdash, inside the temple. And there were 12 shelves on the shulchan, on the table. There were 12 sections, and they would put a challah loaf onto each one of the sections, and a whole week it would stay fresh. And then every Friday they would change it out and put new challah on top of it, and the kohanim, the priests, would be able to eat it during that week, and it would taste fresh, just like it was straight out of the oven. Well, if you take a 6-strand challah, if you take a 6-strand challah and you take 2 of them on Shabbat, we always use 2 challahs at the table. So we use 2 strict strands that represents the 2 different sides of the table in the Beis HaMikdash, in the temple. And you have 6 from each side. Each challah has 1 side of it, and so it's very special. It's as if you're eating the food from the temple in your own house on Shabbat. So what 6 gets a little bit more complicated, but it's not super complicated. It's for me, I guess it's very easy because I've been doing it for so long. What you're going to do to start, just the first time, is you're going to take the 2 ends and you're going to put 1, make it go to the end, and then the other one you're going to cross on top of it. And see these 4, you're going to always go to the middle of 4. So you're going to go with the 4 that you're not using. So I'm going to put it over here right into the middle of those 4. Now I'm going to swap sides each time. I'm going to take this one, the second to the last one. I'm going to put it all the way over to the very end, and I'm going to take that last one that was on top of it and put it over to the middle. Try to do this backwards. Hopefully you guys can see that well. Now again, I'm going to take that second to the last one. I moved over to the opposite side. I'm taking that second to the last one, and I'm going to go over to the very, very end. And now that last one that was behind it, I'm going to put over back into the middle. Again, I'm going to take that second to the last one, move it all the way over, and the last one that I put all the way over to the side, I'm going to stick that one back into the middle. And so you keep on just going back and forth. So see, now I'm taking, you would say it's number 2, going over to putting it as number 6, and putting number 1 as number 3 now. Again, now I'm doing number 5 over to number 1, and number 1 to the middle. You can see that it's second to the last over to the end, last one over to the middle, second to the last over to the end, and last over to the middle. And it comes out to be a really pretty braid. If you want, as you come to the very end, if it becomes easier for you, I usually tell people that you can just put it all together and just pull off the very end, and it gives you a much neater end. See how I have it? And there you go. Whoops. Here you go. I'm going to just pull off. You could pull off both ends. You could just pull off one end, and you have a really beautiful challah. That's 6 braids, if you can see that. I am going to pass it on to Becky. Becky is going to teach us how to use challah dough to make babka. That sounds really yummy and delicious. So I can't wait to hear how you make babka in your house.
Hi. So first of all, I'm super, super grateful to be here with you today. It's been very hectic times, and Challah and Shabbat and family, of course, keep us together. So I'm delighted to be here and to make this Challah with you and make it together. I just want to give you of course, I'm from Chula Vista, from the very, very south part of San Diego. I'm very close to Mexico, and that's why I'm wearing my personal Mexican accent, so you know where I'm coming from. And what I want to tell you is, I don't know if you know why we braid the challah and where does it come from. So we braid the challah. I read it and I thought it was beautiful because when Adam and Hava were getting married, Hashem came down, and the bridal gift to Hava was to braid her hair. So the braid actually, it's not a natural form. It's actually, we have to braid it. And I thought that it's very nice and very special to know that this is a gift from God to the people in the world, and it's very nice to share. But no more bluff, let's go to business. So after we have so much challah and we do so much challah and we've done so many challah bakes, and I'm very happy because I've been participating in all of them and more, I decided that it would be nice if we do something else with challah dough, because we have to have the challah dough with other things. So why not, let's do babka. There's babka that we could do with chocolate, like we're going to demonstrate right now. There's challah, babka that I can do with sugar and cinnamon that I'm going to show you as well. And if you don't want to go the extra layer, of course, there's always this already done, the part thing that you could put in the challah. I mean, in your dough. How do we do it? So we pull apart a little bit of the dough, and if you could see here, it's already, we roll it and we place it nice and smooth. And now that it's nice and smooth, Clara is going to show us how to do the chocolate one that we are very prepared, and it's just cocoa and a little bit of margarine, and we just spread it like that. And that's exactly the same procedure that we're going to do the other babka, the babka that it's with cinnamon and sugar. And they're delicious, and it's the same dough. And I really encourage you to bring all these amazing flavors and traditions to your homes, because this is the best. Having Shabbos in your house and having sweet things with your children, it's something you cannot top. Not even, there's nothing better than these beautiful things. So as you could see, she's already spreading all the chocolate, very nice and smooth, and it's not very thick. And if you want exactly the ratio, I'll give it to Simone, so she's gonna put it in the website, and you can have it and you can use it. And as she's doing that, I'm gonna start doing the same with my special one that I really love, cinnamon and sugar. There's nothing better than sugar and more sugar. And you know, I don't know if you know, but in Shabbos, no calories counted. Did you know that? The calories don't count in Shabbos.
Becky, love.
Yeah.
We can't see your hands and what you're doing down there.
Oy. Better?
Much better. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry to everybody. So this is the margarine that we just melted very softly, and of course unsalted would be better. And we spread it all over the dough that it's already pre-made. And if you could see also how Clara, it's already making her. It's over here. She's already in the second stage. I'm of course talking like always, so I'm always late. But now I'm gonna put the sugar, and plenty of sugar and cinnamon. Yummy, yummy. The more the better. It will melt deliciously, so don't feel that you're eating too little. Remember, the more sugar, the more love, and there's no calories in Shabbos. So if you could see, Clara is already doing the roller thing, and we're ready for the second part. Now that we have all the sugar already spread with our cinnamon and our butter, we start to like just folding very tight. The tightest you can, the better. I cannot tell you how delicious it smells, this cinnamon. I mean, you're more than welcome to come to Shabbos tomorrow, because I'll be more than happy to share with you. So now that I have my dough, I get my personal chef's knife, and I'm gonna cut it in half, all the way down. And don't worry if you think that you're cutting it not perfectly in the center, because you will. And it looks so nice. I cannot even tell you, I'm so excited to be doing this. So now that it's cut in half, you separate both. Oops. Hold on. See, in the kitchen, you cannot be very afraid. You have to be willing to get into the knife and to get very, very aggressive. I mean, in the good way. Now that you separate, you make it nice, and you try to close it a little bit each way, and then the other. And you work it with very slowly. As you could see, Clara did already hers. She's amazing. She's my top chef. And I'm very blessed that I can share with her. She's wearing the mask. That's why she's not talking that much. So now that it's here, what we're trying to do is we're going to braid this and braid it again and again. And it looks almost like a cinnamon twist, but it's not. It's a challah. And it's a beautiful challah. And I already have here my pan, if you could see, with parchment paper. And what I do, I'm going to have Clara's magic hands make it nicer, because she is much better than me. You see? And voila, look how beautiful it's one. And then the second, And I have a surprise for you because we don't have so much time to see how it's gonna turn out. Ta-da! I have a finished one that I'm gonna have right now when we're done with this. And I can cut it for you so you can see how amazing it looks once it's cut. Look, it looks more professional than the bakeries in New York. I can tell you for sure. Yummy. And I'm not gonna have a big bite today because it's not Shabbos. So maybe the calories today will count. Tomorrow, for sure, no calories. And with that, I wanna invite you to see beautiful Michelle. She has so much fun in the kitchen, and she's gonna show you amazing things to do with your already braided challah. Thank you for joining us. Please, please show us how it comes your challah, and for sure, we have a date next year, for sure. Where are you, Michelle? We're waiting for you.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm just going a little bit against tradition. I have just the camera on my braids because I really want you to be able to see what I'm doing. But my whole idea behind this was to take things that you've learned just in this time that aren't complicated and show you how you can get creative with those. While I tell you how I got into this, because one doesn't just, I guess, organically find out their canvas and material of choice for art is bread dough, but I will be braiding this simple 3-strand. You'll notice that it's longer and skinnier. Like, we wouldn't put this on a tray in the oven because then it would be very, very crispy. But instead, what we're gonna do is I always braid from the middle. And the reason I braid from the middle is because then it makes it easier for the ends to look nice for me. So it's just a regular 3-strand all the way to the side. And then when you go into the other side, if you've ever done a Dutch braid, it's just the backwards. So the middle will go out, the middle will go out. And I do that with my 4 and my 3. I wish I could do it with a 6. I haven't figured it out. But I will tell you guys a secret. If you follow the method she showed you on the 6, you can do any even numbered strand. 8, 12, 24, 36. It's the same method that she showed you, just with more braids or more strands. So for this one, I'm going to make a Star of David, which is super simple. And I thought this was a great entry-level one that you could try. We've done these with logos. We've done these just for a variety of events. I get to do education and youth at my synagogue. And one of the years, one of my young gentleman who was having his bar mitzvah, his mom requested a tie-dye challah. And I said, sure, of course. So when I did that, it started a trend. So every time one of my students had their bar bat mitzvah, I would make them a special challah that they wouldn't see until they were on the bima. And then it would be like the surprise. So now it's become tradition at our synagogue for me to make something either that matches their party, or I've done skateboards, footballs, basketballs, all kinds of stuff. I just did a beach scene. But what's nice is with these simple braids, you can do a lot of things. And so for my Star David, it will end up being 2 triangles. If I made them longer, I could just fold it, but the ends will be more pointy since I cut them. So before I get too far, I just do 1 up and 1 down. And then I'm actually going to take this one and I'm going to put one side over, one side under. You're catching on the pattern here that almost every braid and everything we do with challah is over and under. So since this one's over, I'm going to put it under. And then we're going to be, yes, we're pointing. And then this one, actually, yeah, I'm going to have him meet there. I just match, if it's a thinner end, I match it with a thicker end. That's what I was doing when I paused, because then it'll bake more evenly. So that was under and it's over. And then before I do these ones, I want to put this last one on. So that's under. We're going to make him over and then under. And then super quickly, you can see how that comes together. And it's not complicated. You could layer just one on top of the other, but because we've put it all intertwined together, everything will bake more evenly that way. And then, so that was one simple one, but I have a couple others here that I wanted to show you. So I also, while we were talking, I did a khamsa, which if you really break things down, in the beginning, it seems impossible, but it's not. If you look, it's one long braid, 3 braids. This is a twist. And then this was the part that I cut off the twist. And then there was one more piece that I did for the eye. And so when you really break it down into the simple shapes, it's not that hard at all. And then another thing you can do is, like I was saying with Hebrew, I didn't have much dough, so I had to pick a short word. You can spell names, you can spell lots of things, or you can make little animals. And this little turtle, he has sprinkles for eyes. I don't know if you can see him, but that's that simple round that you guys learn. We also love the round. We'll cut off the top after it's baked, and I've shoved a wheel of brie in it and put the lid back on and warmed it through. People don't get mad at that. Not at all. But you can have a lot of fun with this. I would say that you let the shaped challahs rise a little bit less than you would a traditional challah, and you're going to want to watch them baking because you don't want them to over brown. When it comes to toppings, I've been staying away from food coloring dyed dough, mostly because it never turns out very well. You want a golden brown challah, and you're always going to get a golden brown challah, but when you have the colors, they don't come through like they do on the raw dough. So I really love to use sprinkles when I can. After the egg wash, which is just the yolk, and then I do a splash of water. When it's around the holidays, I'll do honey. I'll put some honey in there just to make it a little bit sweeter. But then it's easy to just egg wash on top, and then you can accent with sprinkles. And then lately, especially when it comes out of the oven after it's cooled, I'll usually do accents with fondant, because you can find textured fondant almost anywhere and everybody loves it. And it's an easy way to add a little pizzazz. But so those are the easy ways to take the 3s and the 4s and the rounds and do a little bit more of them. So I think I'm passing to Simone now.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm not as talented as these ladies. I'm not going to be showing you another braid. I will tell you, I do a simple 3 braid every week because that's what I know how to do. The rest are a little bit complicated for me. But I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone for joining us. Shabbat San Diego is all about community unity. We are so grateful that everybody is here with us today. We had over 400 people that I know of that viewed our videos. We had challah bakes to create the dough in preparation for tonight, all around town on various Zooms. And now tonight, we've had over 100 people at some points watching us, hundreds of people with us together creating dough around the world. And it's absolutely incredible, and it feels so inspiring to know that everyone is here. We even had a comment that there's 4 generations making challah together for this week, which is incredible to me. And I just want to say again, thank you for being here. A reminder that Shabbat starts tomorrow. Even though we can't all be together for dinners, please, before Shabbat, during Shabbat, speak to family, reach out to friends, catch up. Right now during isolation, we all need to be together. And then we'll come back together over Zoom Saturday night for Havdalah, and then with our Jewish Day of Learning Saturday night and half a day Sunday, most of the day Sunday. If you're not registered, please go to shabbatsandiego.org and register. Thank you all for joining us. And Shabbat Shalom.